Welcome into another Kong Show. We're here at the Pink Cow, this time together with two of the members of a group called Moonshots. Now, they have real names. Oh, somebody answer the phone, please. You know, this always happens when we're here at the Pink Cow. We get interrupted occasionally by phone calls, but it's a real live program. We're also together with Chris Petros. I want to get to your names in a moment. Chris Petros of the Japan Today website.
Hi, Kong. Good to be back again.
This time, Chris, it's all about music. What kind of music do you like?
I like the Beatles.
Okay.
I'm an oldie.
Okay. Now,
I'm about to like Moonshots.
Oh, there you go.
I like that, Chris.
That was the right thing to say. Gentlemen, you have real names, but you also have band names. So let's start with your band names first. Introduce yourselves, please, and tell us what you play.
Andy Atkins, I'm the front man for the band, and I play rhythm guitar.
Stephen Cray, I play guitar.
And what kind of music would you say you guys play?
We call it feel-good roots rock.
All right, let's get a little bit of that in the background right now. Yeah, that's nice. Chris is tapping his foot.
I want to hear more about this, yes.
And he's nodding his head. We're here at the Pink Cow. You guys just had something to eat. What did you eat, Andy?
The thing that I would always eat here and recommend for everyone, the burrito.
Oh,
Fantastic, because it's chicken tonight.
And Steve, what did you have?
Same for me, just finished the chicken burrito. Excellent, as always. We're huge fans of the chef here, Andy.
Yep.
Chef, been feeding us well for over 10 years, I think we've been playing here. Always excellent food.
And you guys have been performing here at the Pink Cow.
Yes, we've been performing since a Christmas party back in 2004.
All right.
The original Pink Cow.
Wow.
Or the second Pink Cow.
Back in Harajuku.
Yes.
Are you talking about that one?
Yeah.
Okay. How about your real names? Can you tell us your real names now? And do you have day jobs, or are you full-time musicians?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm Andrew Silberman, President and Chief Enthusiast for AMT Group. That's Advanced Management Training Group.
I saw that on your LinkedIn page just moments ago. Do you do anything else here in Japan?
I do so many things I can't keep track of them.
You want to tell us about a few of those things that you do? Some of the other things?
Well, I mean,
the legal things that you do, Andy.
The things I've done over the years, I've everything from coaching tennis, teaching Spanish. Now know that I'm dedicated, basically, besides my family, 50% to music, 50% to business.
Now, I heard you have a 12-year-old who's about to graduate from college.
Just graduated from elementary school today.
I see, elementary school.
Yes.
It would be something if you could say just graduated. I got a 12-year-old who just graduated from college.
Got a 12-year-old just graduated from high school, not from high school, even from elementary school.
Yeah, you're pushing it up
and an 8-year-old. The 12-year-old, Tracy wanted me to point out, gave us part of a lyric to one of the songs we wrote about the Pink Cow.
And you'll be telling us about that, I'm sure, in just a few minutes. Steve, how about you? Do you have a day job?
I do. I am President and Chief Enthusiast of Theta Music Technologies.
And what is that exactly?
And Theta Music Technologies makes software for music education. So basically the skills that you learn in addition to playing your instrument, like reading music, playing by ear, things like that. We have software for that.
Oh, I'd like to ask you about your stage names. How did you choose these names?
All right. How long do you have, Chris?
Well, let's have some more drinks first.
Yeah, exactly. I was in Sunnyvale with my brother and my college roommate. Happens to be a really successful entrepreneur. We were in Sunnyvale in a bar. We decided to visit this bar because they played live music. It's called Britannia Arms, if anyone's ever been there. Nice big stage, house filled up. We're waiting in line, and my college roommate says, Andy, if I can get you up on stage, will you sing a song for them? I said, Tom, you don't do that. That's not what you do when there's another band that's got a gig. He said, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking if I could get you on stage, will you do that? And I said, well, of course, I'm willing to play a song. He came back 2 minutes later, said, you guys are on. You're on. I said, what? He says, the only thing is your name is Andy Atkins, and you used to tour with Supertramp. And it went really well.
Steve, how did we get your name?
Well, so after Andrew came back as Andy Atkins, he said, well, now you need a name. And he took his from Andrew to Andy, basically shortening it. So, I'll go the other way. I'll go from Steve to Steven. And then the Cray comes from a guitarist. I'm a fan of Robert Cray, blues guitar player. So I just took that and used that as the last one.
All right, tribute to Robert Cray. We want to listen to a song from your brand new CD. By the way, what's the name of the CD?
Pieces Falling.
Available where?
Available from next month. It's not being released until April 22nd. When it's released, you'll be able to find it right on our website.
Okay, and I guess on iTunes,
we were going to put it.
Amazon?
Well, we'll put it there later. There in CD Baby, but come to the website. That's the best place to find out information about the band and the music.
And why that title of the album?
Wow, Pieces Falling. First of all, because it could be interpreted many ways if you just hear it. How is it spelled? Is it that piece is falling, or is it pieces falling? And actually, it is pieces falling, because pieces tend to fall into place.
I see. And what were you guys smoking or drinking when you came up with the name for that band?
I'll let Steve answer.
So basically, we tend to think of albums as records in terms of documenting like a time of our lives. And so a lot of these songs from the album were written at a time when things were kind of a little bit chaotic and uncertain. There was a lot of fear about the future and stuff like that. And that kind of came out in some of the songs. And so the pieces falling is kind of like things are in disarray. It's we don't know where it's going.
Well, let's listen to a song. What would you like to introduce for your fans both here in Japan and around the world listening on the Japan Today website?
Wow, if you're listening on the Japan Today website around the world, please have a listen to Best Seat in the House.
Do you have a story about this?
So Best Seat in the House, like a lot of our songs, can be interpreted in many ways, again. One thing that we found is that one of the best things about being in the Moonshots for us is the connection we have with our audience. And it's just wonderful, the things that happen, the things we see. And all of us love music, right? You love getting those first-class tickets. You love getting into the chance to have the best seat where you're going to watch everything. And we realized that actually the best seat in the house sometimes is right there on the stage.
Ah,
right?
Okay.
And then we also wanted to do a little bit of an ode to some of the singers, the backup singers, like the Muscle Souls that you were talking about earlier, giving credit to those people that do the backup singing job as well. So there's a little hint of that toward the end of the song.
Here's music by Moonshots.
Best seat in the house.
First class tickets, unobstructed views, checking all the angles, getting into the groove. House lights down, stand up, pick it up, take a toke, you know it's showtime now. Rice bells jingle from her black leather boots. The silver chains dangle as she slides into view. Strangely captivating, a heartbeat tension mounts. Everything's fascinating when you got the best seat in the house.
Wow, that is a mean guitar solo. I'm so sorry to interrupt this song at this point, but part of the rule here is that we don't play the songs all the way through because, of course, we want people to come to your website or go to Amazon or iTunes so that they can actually support you guys by buying your CD. Steve, was that you on the guitar, by the way?
That was, yeah.
That was nice, man. That was really nice.
Where can our listeners actually see you perform?
So the best place coming up will be on April 22nd, if it's still coming up. I know this is April 22nd at the Crocodile. We'll be playing it for the release party of the album Pieces Falling.
And Crocodile is located between Shibuya and Harajuku, right? Where they have the Comedy Store.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
And that's going to be when?
That'll be on April 22nd from 7 to 10. Again, there's information right on our website. You can reserve a space. And if you do that over the email, we will guarantee you a CD as well.
And how much for tickets?
2,000 yen.
Besides that, though, Andy, is there anywhere where you play regularly?
Yes. Well, we played the last 10 years, the anniversary party at the Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan. And we play there fairly regularly. We also played at the Dickens. We played in live houses around town. We're going to be... We play here. We played here since 2004.
Talking about the Pink Cow.
Yeah.
And you have a gig coming up here at the Pink Cow,
Yes.
I understand. When will that be?
That'll be on May 28th.
And I understand we're going to have something special for our listeners. Is that correct?
We always have something special for listeners of the Kong Show. But one of the things we want to give this time is the free entrance for anybody who mentions the Kong Show for that show here at the Pink Cow.
Kong Show or Japan Today, is it okay?
Yes.
Either or.
Yes.
Big fans of Japan Today, too.
By the way, I'm curious, how do Japanese fans react to your music?
Beautifully.
You're singing all in English?
Yes, we sing all in English. The band has a really interesting mix of nationalities. So right now, our bass player's from the Congo. We've got a lead guitarist from Texas. I'm from California. And 2 Japanese are on the percussion and drums. So we connect on a lot of different levels with our audiences, and the Japanese just love it. I mean, they tend to get up and dance.
Have you performed on radio or television here in Japan? Have you been invited to be on any TV shows yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
Not yet.
Not yet. There it is. I'm sure some television producer is listening to this right now thinking, you know what? I got to get these guys on our show.
You don't wear any costumes like Kiss, do you?
I like it. What? That would turn away the Beatles fans, Chris.
All right, let's listen to another song from your brand new CD. Again, the name of the CD is
Pieces Falling.
Pieces Falling. What would you like to introduce next?
All right, this is going to be, I think, Whistleblower Blues, right? You want to tell?
Well,
What's the story about this song?
So Whistleblower Blues is about all these guys that have basically blown the whistle on something. So our initial inspiration was Mark Woodford, who, of course, blew the whistle on the Olympus scandal.
Is that some secret phrase that you're using there? I mean, a whistleblower?
No, it's a common expression. You know what a whistleblower is?
It's a drink here at the Pink Cow, right?
All right.
Yeah.
You better cut all that and go back.
So whistleblower, they have whistleblower is somebody who actually does blow the whistle on things that are going wrong inside the organization. So Eric Snowden is considered a whistleblower.
Okay, gotcha.
Mark Woodford, who exposed what Olympus was doing, is a whistleblower. Those are the whistleblowers. So in America, there are strong whistleblower protection laws, for example, but they're never protected.
So
that's what the song is about.
It's a political song?
Yeah, that's the thing. So we started out writing this, with the music, because we always start with the music. And then, just like lyrics started coming out, and we got this theme of whistleblower. So, okay, well, how do we feel about this? And what we found was that we kind of had some ambiguous feeling, and we weren't sure if the whistleblower was a hero or not. Right? Yeah.
You sure it's not a blue drink?
Let's listen to the song, please. Here's Moonshots, Whistleblower Blues.
Who'll be the one to speak up? Sign the name on the line. Who's gonna ask them hard questions? Hold their feet to the fire. A lonely, chronic feeling might not all be quite right. Shut the door before the leak gets outside. Bring the darkness to light. You sure you wanna do this thing? Ain't gonna happen for free. Too many got some skin in the game. More pieces than you can see. It's time to let it go now. It's not that big of a deal. It's never wise to bite the hand that supplies. You don't know what it conceals.
Okay, here comes the guitar solo. talk now. That was called Whistleblower Blues. And of course, folks, again, we apologize for interrupting the song, but if you want the entire album, you can get it.
It's quite all right. So here's the thing about our band that I think is special in a way. Everyone thinks they're special, right? But what makes our band different is that both of us have worked and lived in Japan for a long time. And we experience day-to-day things as entrepreneurs running businesses. And one of the things that I do is I participate in part of the Board Directors Training Institute, for example, and helping them to become better directors, right? Better governors of their organizations, that kind of thing. So something like Whistleblower Blues really speaks on a lot of different levels. That's what we think. I think that's what makes the band interesting in some ways.
Do you think of music while you're working during the day?
All the time. So here's the thing. They feed each other. They really feed each other. The creativity that we get. It's not like I'm not one of those people that's longing to play music forever and only music and give up the business, because I love what I do in my business. And I would never feel as fulfilled in my business if I didn't have the outlet of the music that brings into it. And right now, the things are interweaving.
So you would not quit your day job?
I would not quit my day job. No.
How did you guys form the band? How did that happen?
So there you go. It's exactly out of the business. So Steve was the director of a team, software development team for a company, one of our clients. We were on a mountain, not Brokeback Mountain. We were on a mountain and doing goal-setting activities. And I shared with the team, I had asked Steve what he wanted to do with his team. Everyone, please share a personal and a professional goal. And Steve looked at the two facilitators. I was one of them. And he said, well, first, you guys start. You tell me, what's one of your personal goals? I said, well, one of my goals is to write 3 new songs this year. And he just lit up. I can help you with that. I think he forgot about everything else we were doing as far as training. And we just wound up. Then he said, why don't we get together in a week and see if we could play some music? I played some of my songs that I'd written. Steve came over.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. No, we got together, and it was a lot of fun. Started batting around names for a group and thinking about who, putting together a backing band and everything. And about a week after that, we got an offer to do a wedding party. And the only problem was we would need like about 20 songs. So I told Andrew, because we got to learn 20 songs in about a week,
and we need a name.
Yeah, like 20. And Andrew's like, wait, hold a minute, 20 songs, man,
in a week,
shooting for the moon on that, aren't we? And that's where the name came.
Moonshots.
I thought it was.
I was going to say, you were thinking.
I thought it was going to be something that came out of a tequila bottle,
Well, interpretation.
It's always
right.
Open to your interpretation.
What's the hardest part about being a gaijin band here in Japan?
Wow. People always ask this question about what's the hardest thing about doing X in Japan. I hear that a lot. You probably get this on Japan Today a lot. My personal belief is that the hardest thing is always the self-imposed limitations. It's always that. And it's probably true anywhere, but that's what I find here.
And what's the best part about being a gaijin band here in Japan?
Connecting with the audience.
Do you guys have groupies, Steve?
All I can say is people get together a lot at our gigs.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see. So it's kind of it's a good place to take a date or to meet a date.
Yes.
But what about groupies? That was the question I had for you guys.
We're gonna dodge that forever.
You glossed over that.
We're both married with kids.
Yeah.
All right. So no groupies.
Happily married with kids.
Happily married. No groupies.
Our
no
wives
groupies.
tend to come to all the shows.
I see.
Yeah.
And so when the groupies show up, you always pass them off to guys in the audience.
Hence.
Be careful, they're walking a fine crooked line.
A fine crooked line. Didn't I see that tune somewhere on your album?
There's a lot of fine crooked lines with this.
All right, well, tell us about this next song.
I'm glad you asked the way you asked that question. So Steve started to mention that the music starts the foundation of all of our songs. Then we start playing around with lyrics. Actually, even before the music usually is a pretty long discussion about what we want to be writing about, what we're thinking about, what's been going on. And the music that this started, the feel that it had was of this kind of back and forth and what's really when does right become wrong? When does fact become fiction? There's all kinds of stuff that's around, and I had the image then of the Tao symbol.
Yeah,
it's not exactly crooked, but it's between there, and so that's what the thinking is behind it.
So this is a cerebral song.
Yeah, so I remember the very first line that came out, because we started just playing with the music, and all of a sudden Andrew's like, okay, I got in my mind an imaginary line. And so everything just kind of sprung from that.
Yeah. And I'm glad, one thing about this cerebral, so we like to say, and I really believe this for people who are interested in this kind of music, is we're not an intellectual, hard to follow band. It's very accessible music. We have kids from 11 months old to 80 years old, right, that can enjoy our music. But what's good about it, I think, is that you could then listen to the lyrics later or read the lyrics and find stuff like that has deeper meaning. Because in a live show, as you know, people aren't really hearing the lyrics, and they're certainly not remembering the lyrics, but they can go back and check it out on the CD and read them and hear something different.
All right, let's check this out. Again, it's called
Fine Crooked Line.
Now I got in my mind an imaginary line that separates fiction from fact. Arbitrary borders and the natural disorder of another systematic attack. Turning up the heat another 50 degrees on the pressure cooker cooking inside. The petty problem on the broken back burner where the petty problems ought to reside. You were just saying that you never would have crossed the line. Talking hypothetical, waxing theoretical takes me back to junior high. Punitive penitence, cognitive dissonance, what's it gonna mean in the end? Disregard the danger in Pascal's wager and you're wrapped around a riddle again. I divide the fine crooked line. Embrace the ambiguity along the continuity of everything you thought that you knew. A buster like General Custer fever in the filibuster, taking people down with you. Catch a technicality, create your own reality, spin it any way that you wish. Just a step outside the favor of your private echo chamber, gonna take a hell of a hit. I always read in between all the lines you think you see. Feelings tend to turn on a dime. Optimism, pessimism, realism, cataclysm, cycle through the states of your mind. Attitude, gratitude, put it in a platitude. Dot your lashes, give me a smile. Hanging on the edge of fences, think about the consequences. Let you sit and talk for a while. I divide day into night. Lie on your side of the fine crooked line. It's a fine crooked line.
Chris wants to hear the whole song, but unfortunately, you know, we got to interrupt the song, and that was another great guitar solo, Steve.
Oh, thank you, Kong. It's such a pleasure being on your show.
By the way,
Kong, I want to hear the whole song so I don't have to pay for it.
You won't have to pay for it. You will not. You just send us an email or go to the website.
look at these guys. I think they need the money. Andrew he's got paint all over his pants.
He's been painting a house all day.
And Steve needs a haircut here.
Badly.
Steve was lucky to be here. He's been eating burritos all night. We could barely get him to come here and talk.
By the way, how was your burrito, Steve?
Oh, man, that burrito's so good. Best burrito ever.
You took your time to eat it, too.
He did.
And Andrew, how would you describe the decor? How would you describe the Pink Cow for people who are thinking about, maybe, I'd like to go to the Pink Cow. Why should someone come here?
So I remember hearing about the Pink Cow. Tracy came up with this name in order not to just attract every Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? It was something special, something different. And I think people will still find it. It has been 3 different locations. This is the newest one. And it's warm, welcoming, and yet odd. In a great way.
Can I ask an unrelated question before I finish? I'm curious, boys, how come, in your opinion, why do Japanese musicians and singers find it so hard to crack the English-speaking market like in America or the UK? You guys sing in English here, you get fans, all the overseas artists come here and do well. Why can't Japanese singers and bands do well in English-speaking markets?
Wow, I'm not an expert on Japanades bands, but
Is it just a language thing, do you think?
Well, the Sukiyaki song made it, right? It was one. That was a long time ago. That was in the 60s. One thing is, when we're playing, we are connecting with people. Totally connecting with people.
Emotional connection, eye connection,
heart connection, not into just what we're doing on the stage. And maybe that's there's a lot of this. I don't want to overgeneralize, but there's a lot of emphasis on technique and getting it exactly right and playing note for note. Come to a Moonshots live gig and it won't sound the same as the CD.
Like Bob Dylan, huh? Bob Dylan plays his songs differently each and every time he plays one of his songs. Are there any J-pop or are there any bands or musicians or artists here in Japan that you guys like? Or that you would recommend to foreigners who are in other countries listening to this right now? If you would say, I would recommend this band, group, or artist, who would you recommend that they check out?
I'm glad you asked that because for me, there is one Japanese band there that's still playing, but it's Keisuke Kuwata or Kuwata Band. Southern All-Stars. I get a real strong sense from them every time I hear their music. And he does some. In fact, they did one of these. I think he did something with Ray Charles a while back, Ellie My Love.
There were times I left your heart in pain. Time again I turned and walked away. I'd get to
that's right. Yeah.
So it's doable. I think it's tough to break in to the English language. What other countries have done it really well? A couple of bands from Sweden, Australia, and Canada.
And Steve, how about you? Any bands or artists here in Japan that you could recommend to listeners, English-speaking listeners around the world?
Yeah, I like a guitarist named Char. I think a lot of guitar players would really enjoy his stuff. Char. Yeah, C-H-A-R.
He goes by Char the guitar. Char. And he does sing and play in English.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does. I also like a band, Okinawan band called HY.
Those guys are great. Yeah. All right. We're running a little bit short on time. So at this point in the interview, is there anything or any message that you would like to put out to people who are listening, both here in Japan and around the world?
So if you're around the world, come to Japan because it's awesome. Tokyo's still the best, biggest, brightest city, I think, to live in. It's fantastic and wonderful to visit. Especially if you're here in April, come on the 22nd to the Crocodile for our release party. Get a CD. And Steve?
The new album on the website. Yeah.
Definitely. Moonshots.net.
Andy Atkins and Steve Cray, thank you very much for joining us here on The Kong Show on the Japan Today website. Chris Petros.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris. You going to come see us?
From an audience of one. Thank you very much.
Hey, that's all we need.
Moonshots.